All right, thanks. So I will open the November 10th, 2020 meeting of the Master Plan Committee at 7:22 p.m. And for those that might be watching the meeting, we have in the room on video, Karen Clement, Bill Rideout, and on the phone, Andrea Wood and myself, Kim Craven. Absent from the meeting are Don Hayes and Todd Melanson and Cynthia Donovan Schuster. So the first item, additions and deletions, I do not have anything. The past minutes, so I have my notes from the last meeting, but I didn't have them as official minutes. So I wondered if another committee member would be willing to just kind of go over notes with me to make sure that I have everything correct to present at the next meeting, if that's acceptable. Andrea, you're much better with these things than I. Is that an acceptable process where we don't have a clerk right now?
Mm-hmm. I'd be happy to go over them with you.
Okay, great. So I will, is everyone okay with that? Bill, Karen, you okay with me meeting with Andrea to do that and present them at the next meeting?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, thanks. So going back in time, gosh, it's been such a long time. At our last meeting, we started to review, you might remember, the economic development draft. And as we started to go through that, the collective feeling of the group was that this was not a product that we felt reflected our community. It was not anything like the example work that we had been shown. And so we, I think, our initial thought was just send it totally back and not accept it. And then we talked a bit about different changes and things that we could do to it in order to help the consultants relook at what they had presented, maybe spiff it up a little bit. So way back in March, I started to go through this. I think it was like March 11th. I started to do the markup and had hoped that when I was actually on vacation, had hoped that when I came back that we would be meeting to really go over this, because as you might see from what I had sent you over, there's just a lot of questions and just lack of quality workmanship in it. So I want to have everyone go through the comments and the thoughts and just see what else you think that we should offer the consultant in a way to reshape this. I think just getting through some of the pages was just showing a lot of red. So if you, some is stylistic. If you look at the first comments, typically a professional proposal would come with a nice sort of eye-pleasing cover page. This is just text, which is fine, suggesting maybe a picture, making sure that they change it to the Townsend Master Plan Committee, not just the town of Townsend, because it was for the committee. They had it as a final. However, they had never kind of gone through this draft with us, so certainly not final. Readability in all of that, having a table of contents in red ink can really be difficult. So the suggestion of doing that in black ink, readability, and for anyone that might be wanting to have the document printed and all of that, having it just look nice, I think helps. The introduction piece, they there was a grammatical wrong tense, and they didn't indicate the master plan committee. They did take our questions that we had asked and posed to them and put that in the introduction. But if you notice, and these are some of the things that we had started to review at our last meeting, the cover page, which typically isn't given a page number, and then the table of contents, which is usually separate, all have their pages 1, page 2, and then the introduction, the meat of it actually starts on page 3. So those are some stylistic things that need to change. And then I think we start to get into the meat of this. Even just on that, it's on their page 4, where it says following our interim report covering the market assessment, implications for economic development, the client group leader. It was like, I don't know what that is. We're the master plan committee. And then when you really start to read about the small businesses that can be sustained, I'm not sure they're telling us anything that isn't just broad brush information. You might remember back, we had given them the survey results in hopes that they would be able to take their data, which I will compliment them. They drilled down a lot of some available data and provided us raw numbers, but didn't link that back in anything. So in the comment, and I don't know what you can read in the PDF or not, or how I can get you the 67 megabyte document. But building on that. And so if you guys can see the different comments that are in the PDF that I had sent you, I feel like
we can see them, Kim. At least I can.
Okay, great. So what are your thoughts on that? What are we missing? I think, some of the things, I know we had talked about it when we first met, but then when I had read through it again, after our meeting to start marking it up. And then as I started to look at it when I was prepping for the meeting that we had to cancel because of the Zoom incident, I just look at it again and say, this is just so like fluff, like that. What would make Townsend a destination? An ice cream shop. Well, we have 2 of those. So, and then ecotourism if linked. So I have put a lot of questions in there, but I want to make sure these are the right questions because we'll only have one opportunity to have them review this and bring it up to the caliber which we want for our community's plan. What kind of thoughts and inputs do each of you have?
So, I don't think we can do that. Are you asking for us to do this live during this meeting or to go back and read through it and come up with thoughts?
So I think it would be really hard to do it live.
That's what I think too.
When I first did this, I thought, we'll be together in the room and do it sort of like we did some of our other work, putting it up on the screen. Dawn would share it, would talk about it. We could do track changes. That's not really feasible here, but do you think that makes sense? Because when I look at this, I feel like there's a lot of redlining in it. And I want to make sure that each one of you has the opportunity to look at the red lines closely and see what's missing. And I'll tell you, I get partway through it and I was like, almost feeling like there's so much red line here. Is this going to make sense? And then when we get into it with some summary observations and findings, there's some data pieces in it. But not much substance.
Right. I mean, that was our general comment at the February or March meeting.
Right.
We had was that we need to ask very particular questions related to Townsend. And I think, asking really good questions that really don't let them come back at us with fluff is the key to getting some possible response, if they really have any ability to do it. So that's, I think I need to read through it carefully and think about how can we ask really pointed questions such that they can't escape with giving us boilerplate.
Right. Because even when, as I started to get down deep into it, and it's sort of like the inconsistencies with some of the charts and graphs that they gave, the lack of really good explanation, like, showing the commuting origin and destination patterns for work trips. And the blue columns represent the number of commuters. Well, you can see that on the figure that's what it says. But why are they telling us that? Why is that important? And I think that's what's missing throughout the whole document. But I think just me looking at it and starting to ask questions will fall short, because we're a committee that has a lot of, our own experiences here in the community. And I think the other part is that not linking it to what we found in the survey, I found really difficult, because we gave them that purposefully so that they could inform what they give back to us by what our community was desiring. I expected, here's what the data shows, but here's what your community really wants, and here's how you bring it together, like a plan. This was an economic development plan.
Right.
What do you think, Bill?
Well, the question is, where do we go from here, and how do we get the best response from them? So I'm really going to have to review the document in order to think about that again, because, I think it was in my head in March, and I don't think it's in my head right now.
Right. Okay. And
you did put down a lot of questions to the side that with your comments, and I think there probably won't be a whole lot more comments that Bill's going to give, because it looks like the first, the numerous pages that you've gone through.
But I don't think we want to swamp them with small things to fix. But
nothing small that she noted, unfortunately, except maybe a comma, but even a comma makes a difference in something. So there is a lot. And as you said, everything, it could be used for any town the way it's written, and not specifically for our town. So that's the.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
I'd sort of like them to have, here are my top 10 suggestions for Townsend to do, blah, blah, blah. And then the whole rest of the report is describing why these are the best suggestions, but if you can't put it into bullet points where you have these great, here's the 10 ideas we should do for economic development in Townsend, and then support it in the rest of the report. Where is the one-page summary that says here are the 10 top ideas or something like that?
Right. It is and I'm not even sure I noted that, but it is lacking a total executive summary.
Right.
They have the summary response to our RFP questions, but right. in their response to it, I think for us to have asked questions and their response is 1, 2, 3, 4 bullets with, then a short paragraph of about 6 or 7 sentences right. isn't compelling. So, okay.
Yeah.
So I think if you're willing to do that, Bill, I think that's a great idea. It brings us back to kind of that place that we were at early in the winter before COVID. And then Karen and Andrea, if you could do the same, and if you can reflect on my comments and maybe improve upon my language or ask the question a little bit differently, I found that when we put our heads together, when we've had other opportunities with material presented to us, we really were able to strengthen what we came up with.
So when would you like to have us have that completed in order to have another meeting with you?
So I'd love to do it sooner than later.
Oh, yes.
Would really like to move this forward to complete the project. So looking at schedules, I know 2 weeks from now is Thanksgiving week, which that's not feasible. And when I had asked about the first week in December, we all had a little bit of a differing schedule. But if there's a preference, Bill, I know, Karen, you usually have a library meeting on a Tuesday. Bill, you usually have a Rail Trail. Yours would be like the 16th, I think, if I'm correct.
We don't have any library meetings until after New Year's, so we're
Are you not? Okay.
Now, what's wrong with Thanksgiving week? Is somebody going to be gone?
I mean, we're going to have a Zoom call for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving is fine with me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess this is a little bit of a different.
It's not like the normal,
Right.
Not the normal like baking and cooking week,
Okay, so sure, let's do the 24th then. If Andrea, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So,
have you been in touch with the group doing this financial plan? Are they expecting feedback from us?
yeah. So they're not happy that they have not received compensation yet, and Karen and I were able to meet with the planning board representatives and Adam. And I told Adam, I said, the timing of it is unfortunate, and I'm not unsympathetic, being a government contractor that had a lot of my work, sort of abruptly shut down. I'd like to get this to them, but, for the longest time, we didn't know how we were to meet. And then once we had a mechanism to meet in the town, we weren't clear on our status. So I told Adam we're a little bit in a rock and a hard place. And once that was ironed out, we had planned our meeting. And then, the Zoom incident happened, and we didn't have a new alternative because it happened to the planning board the night prior to us. So, I think Adam's been communicating through one of their principals, letting them know that we have not forgotten about them, but that we did have concerns about the work product, and they needed to be ironed out before a payment would be forwarded.
So this is a single payment kind of thing. You're not paying part and then.
So it was a 3-phased payment, and I'm not going to remember it 100%. So I don't want to say exactly what it was.
Okay.
Because I'm sure I would be wrong, but there was
some, in other words.
Yeah, they've been paid some. Yes, Bill. I think that's a good point, especially if someone views this meeting. They were paid incrementally. So when they came out and did their interviews, there was a payment of some sort. And again, I can't recall the particulars. And then after their next iteration with when they came and showed us some of the data, there was a payment. And then this is sort of the final phase of the work. So until this is completed, they wouldn't get the final payment. And if memory serves me correctly, it was even payments, but again, don't quote me in case I'm not remembering it correctly.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So the other thing, Kim, to do this, I don't have a PDF editor, and you said it's a large amount of documents. So I think if you set up a Dropbox link, or one of us set up a Dropbox link, and I guess if you make it just read only, it's safe. It can't be a way of communicating. We just download stuff from it and then send whatever our changes are to you. Does that make sense?
Right. So I think
Karen just
right, because it can't be a. So I can send.
No.
I think I can.
If you're sending changes, if you're sending changes to you, that's making a decision more or less outside of an open meeting. I don't think that works.
No, I think what he was saying, Andrea, is that each of you would get sent a copy, and then each of you would send it back to me. Then all of you, we would review it at the next meeting together, everybody's input.
But in sending it back to you, aren't we communicating our changes? And wouldn't that, at least in your mind, force you to make a decision? Perhaps?
But I mean, we're only communicating with Kim, not with each other.
It would be, I believe it's the equivalent.
That's true.
Yeah, it would be the equivalent of you sending me, here, Kim, this is what I'd like to put on the agenda. So
Okay.
Bill will send me his
Use
document.
that way, I'll go with
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying that Kim shouldn't make the Dropbox a place where people can upload stuff, because then you could be exchanging between committee members. So if she just makes it a read-only Dropbox, it's basically the same as just sending it to your email, and we can't exchange.
Well, wait, read only by all of us, or just read only by her?
What I'll actually do is I'll set up, in my Dropbox, I'll set up a master plan folder for Karen, Bill, Andrea, Dawn, Todd, and Cynthia. And I'll upload it all those different times to a Dropbox just individually.
All right, so you're going to have individual Dropboxes for each one of us,
Yes,
so that we can then put it right back in there.
correct.
Okay.
And then no one else can ever see it, but that's the only way that we're going to be able to transmit a document back and forth.
Right, because it's just too big. Yeah.
It's too big, right?
Right.
Well, that makes sense. That's, in other words, the only communication will always be through you. So.
Right. Okay.
I hate to ask this, but I'm just dumb as rocks when it comes to computer stuff. If these Dropboxes is going to be confusing for me?
I'll bring it to you on a thumb drive, Andrea.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be easier.
Sneaker Dropbox.
The what?
They call it Sneaker Dropbox.
Sneaker Dropbox.
Right.
Oh, okay.
She actually goes to your house and gives it to you.
Yep. Mobile Dropbox, I like.
There you go.
All right. Okay. So that's set. Next meeting is set. Now, the question that came up when we were meeting with Lance and Chaz is, what drafts or work products would we send? And this, I think, Andrea, goes to your point, is probably on the agenda. Typically, I believe that the master plan committee would send it in its entirety to the planning board at the conclusion. I think they're wondering about progress and what they can see. And they offered if we needed help in some way, which we'll get to.
You're not interested in doing. Excuse me.
What do you mean? They're not interested in helping, or they're not?
No, that's my whole point. They want us to report to them.
Yes.
Because they think they're in control of everything. But they're not. Their members, the entire planning board, are members of the master plan committee. They're supposed to be there at the meetings. Only Mr. Nocello, when he was still on the planning board, and Jerry Lynn ever attended.
Correct.
That they are supposed to be part of the committee. They're supposed to submit reports. They can vote. They can do any number of other things. But they have not participated one iota, except for the two people I mentioned, in this whole process. They just want to take it in and pass judgment. They talk about us, make complaints about us, and never even communicate those through to us. You don't know they were even made unless you listen to their meetings. I'm tired of the high-handedness of the planning board. I have had quite enough. If they want these things, then they can come to the meeting. They can get it. They can read these things, and they can submit their opinions as well. They're supposed to. It's mandatory. I don't know what they think ex officio means, but they certainly don't know. That's it. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, this is, a topic for discussion. It's certainly been ups and downs trying to move forward with the process, and their expectations as the planning board and us as a committee. And I know we all had gone to their meeting once to speak with them. So Andrea, I do understand the frustration, but for a path forward, what are we comfortable sharing at this point? What do you want? Bill and Karen, do you have any thoughts on things that would be?
We certainly have lots of material. We have they seen like the survey results and I don't know.
Yeah, so the survey itself had been sent to them even before we sent it out.
Right.
And the survey results we had sent to them.
Okay.
They have the MRPC material.
Right.
And those are more finished products, and I didn't know if there was anything else that you'd want to share at this time.
Well, what's the problem with sending them the draft that we have that we're asking, they want to know progress, right? So we have a draft of an economic plan that we're asking to be improved. Why not send that to them? I mean,
yeah, I think that's their opinions. I agree.
I mean, you're getting our opinion, and if they want to give an opinion before you send it back, well, as long as they do it in a timely way.
Before the 24th.
So perhaps we could invite them once. Do you want to invite them to the 4th so that they can review it?
Notify them.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't have to invite them. They're invited by law. We just have to let them know the times of the meeting, which is easy enough since we share a coordinator.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they know.
So what we could do, just like you said, is notify them, let them know that on the 24th, everyone will have their final individual comments, and then we will make a final request to FXM, and that we would invite them on the meeting on the 24th if they have any input.
So you'll send them what you have suggested for changes in the meantime, or do you want to wait for everybody's comments before you send those to them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could request it because I've sent it to you all, but I think for coordination purposes, letting them see what everyone has sent prior to the meeting on the 24th.
Is that an open meeting violation?
What's that, sending it to them?
Yeah, with all our opinions and comments.
I will double check on that, but I don't think it is, because we're independently working on it and then coming together to discuss it. Like when we were doing the survey, we would each mark it up and then we would come to the meeting and talk about what to change.
Well, and giving it to them
Go ahead, Karen.
That's all right. Giving them the information ahead of time, as Andrea said, they can actually make comments themselves, and we can discuss their comments on the 24th if they have other things that they have thought of that they would like to be included. I didn't realize that they should have that much input. I thought I always thought that we were just kind of the committee and we were submitting the information to them, that they weren't actually doing any input information into this. So I must have been wrong in my assumption.
Yeah. I mean, typically, Karen, they don't, because they're the more independent, I guess, at the end. Once we present it to them for them to look at it, my personal opinion is if they get involved with the production of it, it then not becomes the master plan committee, it becomes a planning board document. But we've always allowed them, we had one member that was at one point attending, but then didn't, as a member, but then, as Andrea pointed out, Chris Nacella and Jerry Lynn Bazikas frequently attended, and they were always welcome to ask questions, more of a observation and, asking us questions and not actually building it. So I do think that is an important distinction. But if there's something that they see in the document, whether it be the information from MRPC or the survey results or this, that they have a question about, for information that they feel might inform some of the other work, I don't have a huge problem with it, but I want to make sure that it is coming from the master plan committee, the end product.
It seems to me that at the beginning, long eons ago, that somebody asked how many people were supposed to be on the committee. And somebody said 12. And we all groaned and laughed because that's a huge amount. It's horrible. But when you consider them as ex officio members, that's 5 members and 7 from the public. So the public would still outweigh the planning board if you voted your straight, should the expression, party line.
Right.
I think the reason they wanted them on the committee was why they're ex officio is so that we can incorporate the way the planning board wants to go, see how the way they're going now, if it's in what the public interest is, and how it could be changed maybe then to go along with the public interest. When you work on a document together, you're much less likely to turn it down because it doesn't fit your stereotype, as if you all work it together and make it your combined thing. But that's just my opinion.
Right. So one thing to note, though, is that they are not voting members.
According to what I read, they can be allowed to vote. I think that's what you should do if you do it correctly. You should put them on as their members, like this year. And then it's like maybe rules for the committee or rules for them. But it did say that they can vote on that. When they're under the board, you would, if they were all attending our meeting, Lance would be just another member. You would be chairman of the committee, and they would be all treated just like other members. They would have the special status, per se, on the committee.
Well, I think when there is a committee, the committee, I think, can either decide to take public input or not. And we've always, when Chris or Jerry Lynn came, we always allowed them to ask questions. And, different times Jim has come and given us information, which is fine. But I think we want to be clear that they're not, while they're ex officios, they're not members. They don't count towards our quorum. And they can't vote on anything. Otherwise, we'd never be able to meet if they were actual members of our committee.
Well, I actually seriously doubt if this late in the game they're interested in participating at all.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing we have to do is kind of press forward. But Bill, did you have a thought?
No, I mean, the agenda item really is, how do we keep them up to date?
Yes.
So my
Where to
thought,
keep themselves up to date. I'm sorry.
but I mean, whether they do or not, I don't see any problem with, like, you make a Dropbox folder for Beth and send her a copy of your edits. I just don't see if we send 5 copies of edits, that'll just overwhelm them.
Yeah.
You're welcome to be right.
Edits. If you have comments, we're going to be meeting on the 24th. And then everybody else is looking at it separately, and we'll all get together on the 24th.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. I'll go along with that.
Yeah. So I will, I guess, if it's a will, then I will do that. I always just worry if it's one person's edits or comments going over, how the other members on the planning board will react to that. That's my only worry, Bill, just sending one, that it looks like these are just my thoughts and not the master plan committee.
But I mean, send it over with the proviso that this was the document I sent to the rest of the planning board to get their edits.
Yeah.
The rest of the master plan, yeah.
And then said to be coming will be the next document you will receive is our final edits where all our suggestions are combined together. It's just a way of letting them know where we are.
Yeah.
That brings up another question for me. When on Facebook a while ago, Veronica Cal said that when we submitted our draft to the planning board, this was on Facebook, so it's not this source, that the list that she would do would be included then. Where it seems to me that it needs to be included in the draft to make the draft complete. Is that correct?
So yes, I think that goes under the assignment conversation. So let's get through the updates, and then yes, I'll address that under
I'm
assignment.
sorry.
No worries. Yeah. Okay. Still hesitant to send them just mine. So one last negotiation. What if we just send them the draft as it was sent to us and said that at the next meeting, we're going to discuss all of them?
I don't have a problem with that either.
Okay, thanks.
That's a good idea.
I don't either.
That way you don't have to worry about it. Yes, go ahead. Just send them what we received.
Okay, thank you.
Tell them the next document you're going to receive is
The combined.
the combined version.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that. Okay, so assignments. I'm still willing to take on the merging of all the different documents when they come together, get them all, sort of compiled. What we still don't have is the water and open space that's not recreation, open space that's conservation related. Now this, Andrea, is to your point. We've asked Todd to do that when Veronica said that she wasn't going to do it or just stopped attending or participating. Todd said he would take it on. We don't have Todd's sections yet. I know Don said he would help. So I think I would just like to send them, just an email to say, are you able to do this? If not, we have to move beyond, because those are 2 sections that we need. Not something that I can really tackle. Don't know who else wants to, if anyone wants to tackle those sections. And to Andrea's point, if Veronica is going to contribute, that's wonderful. She does have, a high level of knowledge in these topics, but we would need the information before, because I can't get it after the fact and then try to work it all back in, right? I can't work on bringing our whole document together and then have something come later. So should we, as we give information back to the planning board, say our request would be that if Veronica wants her sections in, that she gives them to us by the next meeting, or just decides that she's not going to.
Veronica's not on the planning board anymore. She resigned from there. So you'd have to send it to her and say as a request to send it for the work she did while on that.
So Andrea, because she was a member of the master plan committee, does she still stay a member of the master plan committee, even though she's not on the planning board? Or when she left the planning board, did that leave her position?
It's a position because I did it, and they had on a list.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Andrea.
Yes, and Andrea, we couldn't understand that.
All right, sorry. Is this any better?
That's
Yes.
much better.
I put my phone on my earphones, and so I kind of scooted the phone too far away, I guess. She's resigned from the planning board, and in later this week, day after tomorrow, Thursday, I think, they're having a meeting, the planning board, and they named the people they're going to appoint to the master plan committee, and I don't believe her name is on it.
Okay, who are they going to appoint?
You talk about it, I'll go find the thing on the net. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll let you know in a minute when I get there. Okay?
Okay. So, I know Todd, getting back to his knowledge of water, he showed us a lot of great information one night, different maps and different things that he could access. So if he can get that to us by working with Don, I think that would be great. Otherwise, we do need to figure out how to address those sections. I know, Karen, you had thought going back through the old one, seeing what was usable or not, could be an option. I'm all for that. Other than that, I'm just, a little bit at a loss of how to get those two sections completed.
All right. Well, can you give Veronica's, that's a questionable one because you don't know now that she's not on the committee, but with Todd still being on the committee, can you just tell him that November 24th is the deadline, and if it's not in by then, another member will be assigned the topic. That's what we have to do because it's been like a couple of years. Unfortunately, it's been a long time. I would, I can just research, as you said, go through the old one. So I am willing to do the water if need be. Todd is so much more knowledgeable, but, we've got to get this done.
Yeah.
And if I, deal with the water people that are there now, I think the questions, they said, work off the old plan. I know a lot of things have changed in town. I think, over a 10-year span, we added wells.
Yep.
They bought Witches Brook. Like there's a lot of things that happened. But we do have to get it done. So I would do it the best of my ability if I have to.
Okay. All right. Okay, I will ask him and we'll take it from there.
All right.
So other than that, I feel like
plan, I guess, would have to be the same for the section that, with the open space non-recreation. We would just do the best we can.
Yeah.
So Bill, I volunteer you for that section if need be.
Two pictures here, I see. I can't anything else.
Hey, we're splitting it even, Steven here. Andrea has a pass because she just went to find paperwork.
Yes.
Yeah, aren't you lucky? No.
Okay. All right, I will ask him. I'll reach out to him. It might be, Karen, that if you took that old section and talked to the water people that are there now, and even just made inquiries to Todd, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Some key things.
Okay.
Because when he's been at our meetings, he has a lot of information in his head.
Oh, a lot.
It's just getting it. Yeah, it's just getting it done on paper. Okay. And so maybe that's a preferred method for him, is like an interview with it.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And I can understand that that's sometimes easier. So,
Right. Okay.
I mean,
okay.
I'm stuck, if I have to do this section, I will try to give Veronica a call and say, okay, tell me the 10 points you wanted to make.
Yeah, you could ask that of Veronica, and then, even just grabbing one of the conservation members, or even, I had a really good conversation with Dave the other day just about something, and I said maybe we'll follow up with a call to him. He's been on a master plan committee, so I think he'd be a good resource,
Right.
and he's very easy to talk to. So.
Right. So ultimately, I'd be more reporter than expert. So.
Yeah.
Well, me as well.
Yeah. Which I think is fine. That'll get us to our end goal. So, calendaring things. We have the 24th, and looking 24th. 2 weeks after that is the 8th. Do you want to try for the 8th?
Yes.
Yep. That's fine with me.
December 8th. And then we could do the 29th of December.
I've got my grandkids that week.
Oh, okay. What about the 5th of January?
Are you gone the week of Christmas?
No, I'm actually here the week of Christmas.
Yeah, I'm around too. Kim, are you gone? Andrea?
No, I'll be around.
So is that December 22nd?
Hang on, let me look at something really quickly.
Eggnog will be required at that meeting, but
Okay.
That's okay.
No.
We'll cheer via Zoom.
that's right.
So you all hate me.
What are you going to be in the Azores or the?
No, it's like the only day that week that Rick has off, besides Christmas. But I'll commit to it.
Well, how about Monday the 21st instead then?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a life anymore. I don't know.
No, I don't know what. See, it's the old Christmas that I'm thinking about. I don't know what I'm preparing for, but I feel like, okay, he's home. I got to prepare, right?
No, nothing for this year. Yeah.
Does that work for everyone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, great. So we've got November 24th, December 8th, and December 21st. I don't think we'll be quite done then, but we should be done all of these pieces. We should, if we come back on the 24th, I'm just looking for. So if we could ask them to have their changes back by the 8th, or do you think that's too soon? Should we give them to the 21st?
What precise changes are you talking about?
The FXM. When should we give them?
FXM,
should we
okay.
give them to the 21st?
Yes, I think you have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and hopefully on the 24th, perhaps Veronica would, give information. Todd would give information.
Information.
If not, Bill and I will have to have it ready for December 8th. So we would have at least 2 sections to go over on the 8th.
Okay.
So Kim, are you contacting Veronica or did you want me to?
I don't mind sending her an email with a CC to you. Just letting her know that, we're going to reach out to her.
Okay. I would say, go ahead, if you haven't written it yet and you just want to interview with Bill Rideout, he'll be taking over that section,
Yeah.
just as in case we're stressing her out or something. She is a selectman, which is a tough job.
Right, really busy. Yeah,
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so I would say throw that offer in there. If
Okay. Yep, I can do that.
Okay.
And
CC me.
Do you want to know about the appointments now?
oh yes.
All right. They're meeting on the 16th. And they're appointing Kim, Karen, Bill, me, Don Hayes, Cynthia Donovan Schuster, and Tom Valanson.
And who will be from the planning board?
Wait a minute.
There is nobody there.
Dawn's not on that.
Yeah, Dawn was on it.
Well, I didn't hear. I wrote down names. I didn't hear Dawn. Okay.
Yeah, Don was there.
Okay.
Oh, like I say, if you go to the town calendar and go to the 16th of this month, it'll list the planning board and it's right on their agenda.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm there at that
You're
meeting
welcome.
anyway, because they're talking about the rail trail.
Rail trail, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Bill, actually, seeing you're going to be there,
Yep.
would you mind giving our little report?
Sure.
Okay, great. So I'll work on that with you to give to them.
Okay.
And I think this is going backwards a little bit, but I want to make sure that we're ready. We should be giving a cover letter to FXM. Do you want me to draft one for review at the next meeting?
I'd like that.
Okay.
Time. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, and then gaps. So one of the things that we had asked for when we jointly worked with the Housing Authority to go to MRPC was asking them the implications around taxes and services. I would have to go back to get our exact wording. When it comes to housing, so sort of what's that breaking point of what is needed for housing, but also what is needed for taxes in order to support services in the community. And we never got that. So I'm not sure how we address that piece of it in the housing section. So that is a gap for sure. Any thoughts on that?
How was it brought to their attention that we needed this? Is there something in writing that was requested?
Yeah, so it was part of the application that went over, and we had come up with a bunch of questions for them to answer for us, and that was one of the questions that didn't seem to get answered.
Is it possible for you to send the same questions again? I know a lot of things have happened over the last few months. Maybe things were just overlooked.
I mean,
Maybe they haven't had a meeting, it's been kind of crazy.
Information, so I think Karen's right.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I just wanted to know what you guys all thought about that. But yeah, I can send it over to John and Glenn and ask them if they have that somewhere for us.
Thanks. Yeah. Things have been crazy, so things could easily have been overlooked.
Yeah. Well, and we can certainly understand things being impacted by our current world. So, okay. Can anyone else think of a gap other than the assignments that we're potentially looking at within the plan?
I don't think so. I think we had already, gone over sections and, the two missing sections, and then just working on this, the economic development part.
Yeah.
And then you just have to put it all back together. So I think we had reviewed most of everything way back when.
Okay. Yeah, I just, it's because it's been a while, I wanted to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And obviously we've got a few meetings planned here. So we're just coming up on our hour for our meeting. Not that we can't go longer, and I know sometimes we do, but is there anything else on anybody's mind right now that we need to talk about at tonight's meeting or plan for the next agenda?
Do we need to appear before Kathy to be sworn in?
So I believe that we will, because that was, if you remember, one of the complications when we were going to meet before the Zoom incident. They were not appointing us in a friendly manner because we couldn't physically all get to see Kathy from that Monday night until our next meeting. So can everyone after the 16th get to see Kathy by the 24th? For whatever reason, we can't do that over Zoom.
I can.
Yes.
Andrea?
I'm sorry. My son picked up his dog.
No problem.
We were just all saying goodbye and I love you, and I missed what you said.
He was just asking if after the 16th, our reappointment date, would you be able to get over to see Kathy to get sworn in by the 24th?
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect. Hopefully that gives Todd enough time to do that as well.
Well, talking about time, I was notified of the meeting tonight. I mean, I know you sent out the memo and we checked in all that stuff. But I wasn't notified until yesterday about the meeting tonight. And that's a little close.
Okay, I thought Beth sent it out to everybody earlier, but maybe it was just me.
I got an email from Beth yesterday. Maybe she sent another one.
Okay. Well, now we all have our meeting dates at least.
Yes, now we're set. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So sorry about that. I didn't notice, I guess, that one was just to me and not to everyone.
That's why with Todd, perhaps he just didn't look at his email yesterday.
Right.
He should have just missed it that way.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll reach out to him personally and, everyone else as well. And I'll give them those dates that we came up with.
Good.
All right, Bill, I think it's still your job.
All right. I move that we close the meeting.
And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thanks, Andrea. All right, so all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right.
Thanks, Kim.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Harley, for all your help getting us on here, and look forward to talking to everyone on the 24th. Bill, I'll connect with you so that you have a short report to give on the 16th.
All right. And you're going to send out that Dropbox to each one of us.
I am. And I'm going to send that note to Veronica.
Great.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, everybody.
All right.